What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, we've got some news for the brand new director for Jurassic Park 7, and it looks like Gareth Edwards is actually going to be the guy to take on the role this go around. Now, if you aren't familiar with his work, he's actually done movies like the 2014 reimagining of Godzilla, which a lot of people are actually saying that's why they're very happy with this choice of director. He also did Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and The Creator, which came out last year. Now, before we really go into everything, I just want to read over this information that's available on Deadline that broke the news. And there's some pretty cool information here, and I think it's going to start a good conversation for fans to really go over what to expect in the future. So the article starts with, after a deal couldn't be made for David Leitch to direct, Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment have moved fast as the studio is in final negotiations for Rogue One director Gareth Edwards to helm a new Jurassic World movie. The studio recently dated the pick to bow on July 2nd, 2025, and moved fast to find a director, with Edwards spending all of last week meeting with execs. After impressing producers Steven Spielberg and Frank Marshall, who helped launch the franchise in the 90s, an offer soon followed and pre-production is expected to ramp up once a deal is sealed. The new movie will be a completely fresh take on a Jurassic era, with Jurassic World cast members Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard not expected to return, nor the original trilogy's thespians Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, and Sam Neill. David Koepp penned the script. This isn't Edwards' first rodeo when it comes to high-profile tentpoles. Having directed the smash hit Godzilla for Legendary, that film helped launch its own universe that has produced 4 sequels and a recent TV series, Monarch, that Legendary and Apple produced. He would also direct the Star Wars standalone pick Rogue One, which would go on to gross $1 billion at the global box office. He most recently directed The Creator for 20th Century and New Regency. The film starred John David Washington and Gemma Chan. Gareth Edwards was more than likely at the top of Steven Spielberg's list for a while, at least in my personal opinion. I think Frank Marshall actually went around looking for someone that would be a shooter for this Jurassic movie, and David Leitch was the one that they immediately, were able to secure a deal with. But after the falling out that happened over the last few weeks, they've been racing to do something different, and Gareth Edwards, in my personal opinion, is a great pick. His 2014 movie Godzilla is actually one that I really enjoy, and it's funny, I actually have to rewatch that for Dragon Curve eventually, so be sure to look out for a review of that movie. But yeah, I actually really like the way he handled that movie, and I would argue there's more Jurassic Park isms in Godzilla than some of the stuff in the whole Jurassic World trilogy. Now, Hollywood Reporter actually has some interesting stuff to say about this news. It became clear to Leitch that his creative input would be minimal due to the project's fast-track status and because the producers wanted to wield a stronger hand after the experiences of Jurassic World Dominion. This would also have minimized the participation of his producing partner and wife. The new Jurassic already is several drafts in, with a script written by David Koepp, so they've actually been doing several drafts probably ever since Dominion. After David Leitch fell off, the studio and producers put on their safari hats to wade into the jungles of Hollywood to find a filmmaker who was experienced with big studio productions, who could accept that the role would be more shooter than auteur, and oh yeah, had to be available quickly as the studio is intent on commencing production in June. Okay, so right there we get information that they're going to start production in a couple of months, June, so this is being extremely fast-tracked. Universal had a very short list on its hands, but Edwards quickly rose to the top. Edwards knows his ways around creature features thanks to his breakout indie Monsters, another one that I'd really like to tackle on Dragon Curve, and subsequent studio debut Godzilla, which launched Legendary's Monsterverse a decade ago. He's already weathered one tumultuous production thanks to his experience on Star Wars Rogue One, and he's a special effects wizard, good with budgets, demonstrated most recently with last year's original science fiction thriller, The Creator, which starred John David Washington, and though it was made for $80 million, looked like it cost much more. Now, this is actually really good news because Gareth Edwards being able to understand visual effects, at the very least, he could go in there with this movie being on a time crunch and help them make the visual effects look decent. Say what you will about Godzilla, and honestly, say what you will about The Creator, I personally have not seen that movie, but all the trailers and everything, that movie looks phenomenal. And this, look, personally, I think sometimes when you look back at a lot of the Jurassic World stuff, Jurassic World, the CG doesn't really look that good, especially in the harsh daylight, and Dominion, I don't know what went wrong there, but there are some scenes that look great, like with the Therizinosaurus, but what I'm hoping that Gareth Edwards is going to do on this new movie is oversee the CGI to where we can get an authentic Jurassic Park experience when it's coupled with what he did with Godzilla. I gotta tell you guys, if you haven't seen the 2014 movie Godzilla, the opening alone is very good, and it's actually some of the most serious stuff you will find in a monster movie. Bryan Cranston gave an incredible performance there, and Gareth Edwards really knocked it out of the park as far as bringing us like a very dark, sophisticated, and grounded science fiction film, which is funny because it's like Godzilla once he gets revealed. But yeah, personally, I think this is very good news. I don't think that they could have... I prefer Gareth Edwards to David Leitch just based off of the filmography, although I will say, and I know a lot of people do like Rogue One, I found it to be incredibly boring. I don't know if that's Gareth Edwards' fault though, or Tony Gilroy, because there is something else that we need to talk about. So Gareth Edwards actually left the production of Rogue One, and Tony Gilroy came in to do some reshoots, and from my understanding, that drastically affected the movie. So yeah, it's just interesting, man. I gotta be honest with you, my personal opinion, I am far more comfortable now knowing that Gareth Edwards is actually going to be doing this rather than, you know, somebody else, and it's no disrespect to David Leitch or anything like that. I would have preferred, obviously, Steven Spielberg. In fact, I don't know why he doesn't want to do this, but yeah, Gareth Edwards is a good call. I think that if the script is in checked, and we also got new information that says that there's several drafts in. So David Koepp's been hard at work. Gareth Edwards can make a very convincing science fiction grounded thriller sort of a movie. Okay, I'm relaxing a little bit more. In fact, I'm looking back and I'm like, if somebody told me in 2014 after I saw Godzilla that director was going to be making a new Jurassic World movie or Jurassic Park movie with David Koepp coming back to write the script, I would have been like, what? But yeah, so all around, pretty good news. I do want to talk more in depth about like how Gareth Edwards' approach to Godzilla could actually help the Jurassic World brand. We still know virtually nothing about this film, so we're gonna have to wait and see what's going to take place as far as like the rollout goes with revealing the plot or characters like cast and stuff like that. I think this is a good sign. I'm actually excited to see what they do with this, although I will be completely honest with you, just the fact that they are rushing it is bothering me. I do think if they pushed it back, it would do nothing but help the production. But yeah, dude, that's all the news. Gareth Edwards is going to be directing the next Jurassic movie, and David Koepp has been hard at work on the script, and the creator was made for $80 million. One other thing to take away, Gareth is going to be able to deliver something really, really high quality with the visual effects that we probably haven't seen in a while, and that's just my opinion because he is someone that knows about that aspect of CGI. I think it's going to be a much more collaborative effort when he actually moves dinosaurs on the screen and is able to do what he can do to fit the tone of the movie he filmed. Anyways, guys, those are all just my own thoughts and opinions on the subject matter. I'd love to hear everything that you guys think about this news and what you expect of the new movie. Again, I do wish that they take their time with this because I'm not the biggest fan of the Jurassic World stuff after everything like ramped down. But yeah, those are just my own thoughts. Whatever yours happen to be, I'd love to hear all about them in the comments down below. Now, before I go, I want to thank everyone that's helped me build my channel over the years. I'd also like to thank every one of you guys who've watched my stuff. You've all been extremely cool to me. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and hope that you'll consider subscribing. God bless you all. Christ is King. See you guys in the next video, and as always, take it easy.